I'm your host, Jared. Next to me, we got Rich and my boy Alan.
What's good?
How's it going? Yeah.
Yeah, that's Rich that talked last, and then first one was Alan. I guess I should have.
I
should have let you guys take in time.
I'm Alan.
Yeah.
And the sexier voice is Rich.
Yeah, that's me. Sweet baritone voice coming at you. You know, help you fall asleep.
I thought by this point we could get the intro right, but I guess we are a work in progress.
Hey, we can actually post all of them and see which one y'all like.
That's actually
even better. If we end up making it more than like 3 years and actually stick with this shit, then that'll be like our bloopers that we do when we get on Patreon. How about that?
The way we're going, the first 3 hours of this is gonna be the intro.
Yeah, we seem to not be able to get it through. Well, anyways, guys, today we're gonna be talking about the Snyder Cut. So we got done with the 4-hour movie. We just finished it, and
spoiler alert.
Yeah, so spoiler alert ahead of time. If you haven't seen the movie, make sure to go check it out and then come back.
HBO Max.
Yeah, HBO Max. They are honestly have been killing it since they came out. So
Killing it.
yeah,
can't complain.
Yeah, like me and Rich have been on that shit since the beginning. So, and I have not stopped it since. Like whether it's Rick and Morty, fucking. Anything.
Like, regular show, all of it.
That's what I'm saying. Everything to Cartoon Network to just, you know what I mean? Yeah, all of it. So, but the Snyder Cut is now on HBO Max, and, you know, I think it's safe to say, looking around the room right now, we all are pretty much in agreement that we love this movie.
Love is an understatement. I think it was absolutely phenomenal. It makes you very angry. This is not what we got in the first place. Instead, we got a piece of shit that I spent money on in the movie theater.
You know what's sad about that I actually thought about the other day? When I went to go buy my ticket to see that movie, so basically a few weeks before the movie came out, they had an early fan screening, and it was first come first serve. And Alan was getting out of work in the city. This was back when I was in school, so I was living in the city. And me and my roommate were like, "Hey, let's go see a movie." And since Alan was willing to drive us and then come back to our place to hang, we were like, "All right, well, I'll go try to get to the fan screening and go see the movie early." And I remember we got there, and we were too late. It already sold out. The whole shit was filled, so we couldn't see it early. And we ended up seeing Murder on the Orient Express, and all three of us fell asleep. So it was a fucking waste of time.
It was very, very boring.
So that was a real disappointment of trying to get there to see this fan screening. You know, my new roommate with my buddy. I'm like, all right, this is gonna be fun. And then to get there and it'd be sold out. It's like, all right, that's already disappointing. It then gets worse when then I realized I saw that shit in a theater in New York City by myself, alone. You know what I mean? When you really think about it, that shit is pretty sad. I saw my favorite superhero team in a theater by myself, saw that piece of shit 2-hour movie that we got, and I had to deal with that alone.
To be fair,
of oh no, I want to love this, but I'm not loving it, and oh my god, no, they fucked this up. They really fucked this up.
To be fair though, in your behalf, I want to say it's sad that you saw it alone, because there's nobody I know more who loves this shit more than you do. So I get it.
At least you didn't see it with a girlfriend you hated at the time.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah, no, that definitely would have been bad. But I get
I win.
But I guess it just sucks on the level of oh man, I had to go through this trauma of watching my favorite heroes fail me in front of my eyes by myself. And then I had to get out of that theater, and then I had to walk to the subway to then get on a train back to Brooklyn. You understand how depressing that shit is?
Yeah, because you just sit there with your thoughts damn, this shit was actually garbage.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting there just on the train damn. What just happened? Where did it all go wrong? Where did they just crumble my childhood?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
They spat on it. They shitted on it.
Yeah, but let's not stick with the negative with the whole whatever that shit was.
Yeah,
let's focus on what we did get, which is the Snyder Cut, which is holy shit. Like this shit was just. Again, I think at this point we already know what we all love it, so I figure we go character by character of like who we really.
Too much sauce.
Too much sauce.
Too much sauce.
It's too much.
There's too much sauce.
Exactly. So I figure we just go character by character of what we really liked and, things that we wish we had more of or whatever. So, Alan, who's our first character on the list?
We are starting with Batman.
Rich?
Dark
you want
Knight.
You want me to start?
Start.
I was born in the darkness. You only lived in it.
Darkness where I was born.
Alright, what I liked about it, obviously in the first one, the Josh Whedon version, it felt more like Batman was forcing everything. Mm-hmm. In this one, it was just, you could tell he was like, I need your help. Mm-hmm. And I like that, because it kind of, in a sense, it humanized him without taking away his savageness.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it definitely made it seem like he had more of a... You understood more of why he wanted to bring everybody together. Like, you understood better of like, oh, like, okay, like, I understand your motive for going around and gathering all these metahumans up when you don't have any real reason to. When you look at like the original theatrical version, it's like he's just going to do it because he found him on like Lex Luthor's computer. But this, like he said, like this is not about Lex Luthor. Like this is just about a promise of like I would do right by him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
On his grave. Yep.
Exactly.
If like I say, it felt more humanized by that aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
And I think it's good to see like Batman, even seeing himself like, yeah, I can probably beat up Superman if I needed to and fuck him up. You know what I'm saying? Like I've done it.
Yeah. Exactly. I technically already beat him.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like. But at some point, I need help. Like, I can't take on this army of people by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, something this big, like, you need people who are willing also, who are capable of all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman, here's the thing. I love the first Wonder Woman solo film.
Me too.
Love that movie.
Absolutely.
84, I like a lot. I like a lot of things about it. Obviously, I get, after seeing it a few more times, how it has some flaws. But overall, what I've always wanted to see in both movies that I feel like I never got, even when that I got a little bit in BVS, but we obviously got fully in Justice League, was, like, her as a warrior.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like, her just fucking people up left and right, like, not giving a shit. She was
killing mad people.
Yeah, she's the type that's, like, bro, like Cyborg said, she's 5,000 years old. Like, she's seen war, she's seen good and bad. Like, yes, she's definitely about protecting innocents, like the kids. But so when it comes to the bad guys, she don't give a shit. Like, fuck them up. Like, who gives a shit? Like, I just really like seeing her like as the warrior, and the way they did the Amazons was just like, dude, it was just so, like they said, like the whole, show them your fear, we have no fear. Like that whole line. Just it stuck with me so hard.
Like you were saying the whole time, a 300 with women, like you know what I'm saying, a 300 just in mascara, like it's phenomenal. Like he brought out the pride in this warrior race, because that's exactly what they are. They're a warrior race of women. You know what I mean? And it's hard to display something like that, you know what I'm saying? As you see them, like in the beginning when the queen is like, oh, break the pillars, and they're closing in all the pillars and collapsing the entrance of.
Like they all died for that.
Exactly, and you see the two holding the last. The last pillar. The last pillar.
So she can escape with
the box.
So
she can escape with the box, exactly. And just see the strength of these women, and you know what I'm saying? And anybody who's, a feminist will love to see the fact that,
it was giving more of that.
Exactly. That they displayed that, like, women can do anything. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Yeah, bro.
Something about that, too. And there was that one scene with the villain Steppenwolf when he's like, I mean, it tells Wonder Woman, it's like, how you can just leave your people, you know what I'm saying? Just leave your worries after I just wiped them out. But they probably would have stood a chance if you were there. And you see her look at her face like, oh, he's like, well, he might be like a little bit of right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and obviously, we all understand why Wonder Woman did what why she had to leave. She wants to,
Yeah.
She
it's just one of those, it was a well done moment.
Absolutely. It makes her take a step back too and look at herself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Which again, is the whole aspect of like these are the difference between DC and Marvel is like Marvel is humans getting godlike abilities and learning to, other than Thor, obviously.
Yeah.
But then for DC, you kind of have the opposite, where it's like other than Batman, the rest are gods trying to be humans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Whether you have Aquaman, Martian Manhunter,
Wonder Woman,
Superman,
and the Flash.
Yeah, and so Flash, I mean, obviously more human who gets his abilities, but obviously gets godlike abilities.
Yeah, dude can travel through time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty godlike,
which is technically a side effect.
I thought...
Pretty much, actually, yeah. I mean...
Yeah, I thought Ezra killed it. I thought he did a great job.
He did a fantastic job.
I
the
love
awkwardness, everything.
Yeah.
I love it.
That is probably my favorite part of his version of the Flash is like, you know what I mean? Like, people fail to realize that this is a kid that has watched his mom die, knows for a fact that his father is being charged for a crime he didn't commit, and was teased and bullied throughout his life over the fact that his
dad was a murderer.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like, for him to have that social awkwardness of, like, you know what I mean? He doesn't know how to talk to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
because he's not used to it.
Exactly.
And now he has these abilities that it's like his mind's now thinking at a faster rate than
that's why when he first talked to Batman, when Batman was like, "You want to join?" He's like, "Do you even want to finish?" I need friends. Like,
I need friends. I have nobody, like, and you're the Batman, you need my help, like, no doubt, like, whatever you need.
I need friends. That's what he said.
Look at where I live. Look at where
look at my suit.
Do I not look lonely to you? Like, I was saying, like, it's either this or a rope.
But I did love everything about it, especially the usage of his powers. Like Jared was saying too, like when he saved Iris. Well, actually, in the beginning when he saved Iris from that car crash, and he had to be mad careful with her. So he's going that fast, you can go through a person and kill them. Like, so he had to be careful, and he still knew his powers still new, so he had to like learn how to still do it. And I thought it was just it looked beautiful. I loved it all.
Because I remember it finally for me explained like when I saw the theatrical version, I was kind of confused on like all the talk he was doing in these interviews of like how him and Zach were talking in detail about like the Speed Force and what does that mean and how would the powers really work in real life. And so to fully realize what the discussions clearly were of like you said, like him having to slowly, anytime you see somebody moving fast, like, with Quicksilver in the X-Men movies, it's like grabbing people moving real fast away, like, he can grab them, move them real quick. But with this, it's like, no, like I have to be very delicate, like moving too fast, like I could literally accidentally go through you. Mm-hmm. So it's like I gotta, like he easily went through the glass, like he saw just by barely
touching the tip of his barely
finger, barely touching the tip of his finger, the electricity destroyed the whole glass. So it's like, I can't touch you. I have to be very careful on like what I do.
That's why when you saw it, he was using his fingertips and barely the grazes of his palms. Basically. Yeah, he was pushing the air around Iris to make sure she felt gently.
I loved how his shoes burned off because going at that speed, everything. I would think all his clothes are burned off. Obviously, can't do that for TV, but at least his shoes burned off because that's how fast you're going. Like all that shit was like is realistic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love how they brought that in.
Exactly. And the one thing I want to say about this movie and specifically scenes with Barry is the fact that the dialogue. Mm-hmm. If you really think about it, is when he first needed to use his electric ability to charge the thing. He said that, I don't usually go that fast because I usually mess with time, and when that happens, something crazy, it messes with time a little bit. Yeah. So obviously he's done it before by accident. Yeah. You know what I mean? We don't know exactly how many times he's done it to really know that
to
it
control
affects. You know what I'm saying? That it'll affect the
everything.
Exactly.
Maybe for all we know, like down the line, that was the future plan. Is like the flashpoint of his movie, like leads to maybe like what starts the nightmare shit.
Exactly.
That would have been in Justice League too.
But that's the thing. That's why I thought originally, like, or at least my thoughts of watching this is when you see the second time, you know, when he fails and he tries to, and he's like, "Damn, run, Barry! Like, this is the like. I know you have a rule. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have to
change it for that moment.
Exactly. Like, and not only that, you have to have your powers for a significant amount of time for you to create rules. You know what I'm saying? In general, like for anything.
That's
like,
what I'm saying. Yep.
So you had to have had it for, in my opinion, at least 6 months to create a rule on a newly found.
It was like the whole.
It would look like he had it like probably a little less than
I feel.
Well, it's like the Man of Steel shit with him killing Zod. It's like, how does Superman? He was Superman for one day.
Exactly.
These aliens came here. He told him either you die or I do, and he was giving him no choice. Superman kills him. Superman is then traumatized by the fact that he kills him, screams immediately after because he can't take it. That's what makes him give him the rule that it's like, okay, like unless I necessarily have to, I don't want to kill, but I will if I have to because like I have to protect
everybody.
The world. Like
it's my job. No?
Exactly. So that's why, like, you know, I was thinking when he went back in time, like, oh, because we already know, like, well, at least if you're an avid goer of like knowing of what happens in the comics and stuff like that, you know, or even if you like, you know, the aspect of time travel, you know that once you change something significant in time, then there's a parallel universe for whatever you change.
Yeah. Like I said, they mentioned the multiverse in there too.
Exactly, so multiple times. So what I personally think happened is that the Snyder Cut universe split into two after that moment.
Probably.
You know what I mean? And they just made it a dream sequence because it's like,
he's seeing like a parallel, like he's like crossing like a parallel.
Exactly.
Yeah. He was right in front of the shit.
Like when you get deja vu and they say like deja vu is like you mixing it with like a parallel universe. Like,
exactly. And that's how I personally took that last scene. You know what I mean? And
interesting. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's
I'll
like,
see why not. Yeah.
And if they continue that. That's crazy because that could lead into like Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, like, you can do literally anything. With that.
Anything like it opens the doors for DC. It opens the doors, and
that's if DC wants to keep up with the Snyderverse, which they should.
I agree.
Like you have no arguments here.
So next, I want to get to Aquaman. I definitely actually, not gonna lie, I did kind of like his, I think the personality wise, like the way he was in the theatrical was a bit more aligned to what we got in the actual like Aquaman solo film. But I do love the way this sets up his film way better, obviously, than the theatrical version did.
I think Snyder Cut's version, he actually is more involved with the Justice League. That's what I like about it. Like he has way more connections with everybody. Like all those little talks that you have everybody. Like, like I feel like that was more shown like him connecting with everybody than what the theatrical version was about. You know, and I love that. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, all those like little connections, all the everybody helped each other. Like that was all missing. You know what I'm saying? Like and like Rich said earlier, like it made everything make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the other one, the other Justice League, in my opinion, it felt like there was 4 different stories going on, and none of them were connecting to what they wanted to do.
Exactly. And the way this one did was just so much better. Yeah,
we get backstory. We, you know what I'm saying? We get an understanding of these versions of these characters, because you can't just think you're gonna give us an Aquaman and we know whether or not it's pre him becoming king or after he's been king for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because those are two different Aquaman. They've been through two different things. And we saw in this one, it's like, this is an Aquaman who, he's just a man that can breathe underwater, that helps out people, that, you know what I'm saying? As you can see in the scenes where he's saving people that are trapped in hurricanes. He once a year he brings fish to this one village that
that opening scene was so much better.
Right? Like are you like exactly. Yeah. He brings fish to this town that every year it gets blocked off from this ice glacier, I believe, right?
Yeah.
It was an ice glacier.
Yeah.
And
so it's like the only way he's coming in is if he's swimming in him himself.
Exactly. Like, and he brings them enough food to last until everything gets back to normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it shows that like he wants to do good, but he just doesn't know how.
Yeah.
And that like you said, Jared, is that helps lead in a better leading into his actual standalone movie. And when I feel like if you watch this and then watch that, it's a full
it makes way more sense.
You know what it is? He made it more clear in this version how hurt he was that his mother left.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how hurt he was with his people. Like, those are my... He said like 3 times at the movie.
And then when you watch Aquaman, the fact that it starts off with why his mother left and all that stuff, it ties in way better.
Exactly ties into that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So that's beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Who do we got next on the list? Oh, yeah, of course. Superman himself. Please, somebody give my boy Henry Cavill another Superman movie.
I swear to God, if you don't, I'm gonna riot.
Mama, there goes that man.
He has just killed it. He has just killed it somebody's popular. He has just killed it every single time for me, like, as Superman. Like, even though I know people didn't like, Man of Steel or, Batman versus Superman, but at the end of the day, like, he is a great Superman. He gives a great performance, and he embodies that character, I think, very well for his version of what this is. And, I was just so impressed with how they handled him in this movie, like his rebirth, him choosing the black suit, how well they made the black suit look, how much better the fight sequences were with him, and how brutal he was. Like,
and also,
like, again, it showed like how it doesn't matter. The second Superman shows up, it's over.
It's a wrap.
It's over.
Yeah.
He's too OP. Like, and I mean that in a good way though, where it's like, like we had to bring him back because he's the only one that can stop this new god, and he did it immediately. Like, immediately.
I agree.
Yeah.
I also love the fact that outside of Superman, how like Lois Lane's like story throughout the movie, how like destroyed she was. Losing him, you know what I'm saying? Like when she thought he was dead the whole time, you know what I'm saying?
And better with the no mustache, gotta add that in too.
Yeah, the no mustache.
The no CG fake lip.
I do appreciate that.
That was so great. Did not have to see that.
But it was good to see like Lois Lane to see, because like nobody in that position would be okay. You know what I'm saying? You fall in love with somebody who, obviously somebody you love regardless. You know what I'm saying? And somebody who you think is a god who probably won't die but then does. You know what I'm saying? So like.
And then you can't even really tell people what really happened.
And that's the thing when Martian Manhunter showed up, that's exactly what he said. He's like, I understand why you're destroyed about it. It's because you're also hiding a secret at the same time while being devastated from the loss. And that's powerful as fuck. Because like, you can't, like, that's exactly what you said. You can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's a good segue quickly into Martian Manhunter, because I think it really fully ties into his story, because even though obviously he, like, the Henry Lennox, who plays General Swanwick and Martian Manhunter, he said in interviews that like he wasn't told that he was Martian Manhunter until they were getting ready to do Justice League after BVS came out. But what I just find so dope is that like here's this guy who clearly has been here for a while, was able to have this secret identity. He said he's had many identities and many different forms. So he has his identity as a general in the in the government, in the U.S. Army and shit, and to have him work his way up to where like, all right, he's the one that meets with Superman. He understands Superman, like, you're the last of your kind, and then it also kind of I think makes sense to why he didn't come out till now, where it's like now to this point, like I saw what the world did to Superman. I saw, and I knew him, and he was a good person. And so I knew no matter what I tried to do, I look different. Like, he at least looks like you.
Yeah.
There's no way I can show my true form without looking different.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those, like, wow, like I really liked how they really did like a full circle of his story from Man of Steel, of just like this recluse alien who slowly learns, like he says by the end of it, I realize I do have a stake in this fight and I need to start fighting for it. And so if we ever do get a Justice League 2, I find it so dope that he, kind of like Paul Bettany playing Vision, like I like that he gets the opportunity now to be Martian Manhunter in another film, and really gets that, like the CG gets to be better, and that he really gets to get a chance to really explore the arc of that character as Martian Manhunter.
All right. And when it comes to CG too, I thought some of it throughout the movie was kind of like some of it.
Bro, but the fact that they shot that back in October.
But like, I thought some of the CG was kind of like, eh. But Martian Manhunter's CG, like when it came out at the end, I thought it looked fantastic. I don't see a single problem with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I thought his whole look looked great.
That's what I'm saying. The fact that they shot that in October.
Yeah.
And it's March.
Yeah.
That's a lot of visual effects to get done and do it, like, at least.
They're actually probably done with this probably like last month, like in February.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Like,
so it's.
Yeah. It came out nice in my opinion. Like I enjoyed it. My whole thing was because I like Martian Manhunter as a character, and I respect him in what he says on the level of like what Superman says, because the simple fact that like everything he says is well thought out, and the fact that the actor that plays Martian Manhunter like gives me that same vibes when he's playing him. You know what I mean? It's like I kind of wish that they gave him more. You know what I mean? Like they did enough, because it's like
it was a last minute reshoot, like, and they only got to shoot one scene for like a few days, like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like for what we got, I liked, but it's like if we could get a second one, Darkseid returns. You know what I'm saying? Like, or Darkseid actually comes this time. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
a wrap, like, it's facts.
Yeah, like
I think he'll have a much bigger role in that. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? Like how they say like Cyborg was the heart of this film. I feel like Martian Manhunter will be the heart of that film.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And speaking of the heart of this film,
Cyborg.
Listen, man, to see that dude go from Teen Titans, the animated show, as a kid, to having like my first action figure as a kid of Cyborg from that show, to then going to the comic book store weekly and really getting into comics more. And at that point, like I think a year or two after I got into comics, like it was like 2009, I started getting into it like weekly. In 2011, I think when they did the New 52 reboot of everything. And that's when they officially made Cyborg a member of the Justice League, and I remember that being a big thing. And then even up to 2 years ago, when he got his own first line of like his own comic book series, to just see him like his full story arc in this, like it is a fucking it is a starving performance by Ray Fisher. Like
they did him justice in this film.
Yeah, like it's not even funny, no pun intended. Like they really did. Like Zack Snyder really knew what he was doing with that character, and Ray Fisher, like, all hats off to him. Like the fight he's been fighting for, when it comes to all that shit. If you know about it, like, if not, look it up. Like, it's just crazy to see like him finally get his due with this movie, and yeah, I honestly just couldn't be happier as a fan. Like honestly, I'm just like in awe of it. Like honestly, just thinking about it right now, like
he absolutely killed it. Like,
yeah,
there's nothing more to say about it. Like it really, like he really was the heart of the film. You felt it throughout the whole thing. His story arc, everything about it was beautiful.
Yeah, like they nailed the character so well. I loved the story with his dad, with how they, to his accident, his relationship with his mom. Like they gave every aspect. It was one of those, like, it's a perfect origin story that it's not overly drawn out. It's just perfectly told. Oh yeah. And it makes me sad that like we're not gonna get him back, at least as of right now. But again, with the success of this, like depending, like right now with the audience score being at 97%, Rotten Tomatoes being at 77%, the amount of success like that this gets in the next week by its streaming numbers, is going to really determine
what's gonna happen next.
Yeah,
in the DCU.
if he comes back or not.
Oh yeah. But that's a crazy thing too about the Cyborg character in itself, though, is he is one of those OP characters that never really realizes how OP he really is.
Yeah, like where Superman knows, like, all right, once I come in, I'm fucking shit up. Cyborg's like, oh, shit, I can do this too.
Exactly, you know what I mean?
Like, but he's only, I mean, to be fair, he's only had his powers at that point for like a couple weeks.
But regardless of what, even because of
but he's saying is like even like it, like throughout like the history of him, like he's it's always been a thing of like he's never fully like it takes him a minute to really
realize that you know what I'm saying. And then on top of that, with his nanobot technology that is embedded in his body, he can absorb other objects and take over. Like if this is a new weapon to him, he can absorb it and thus use it for himself. You know what I'm saying? So it's not it's limitless, but not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because there is a limit to his power.
Of course. Yeah.
But if it's technology based, it's technically not limitless.
Yeah, because everything's technology based.
Yeah, exactly. Like you know, especially moving forward. So like he's one of those characters. It's like you can't really put a cap on him.
Yeah.
But yet there's always gonna be a flaw in something. So
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. No. So obviously, getting towards the end of this review, quickly we got to talk about some of the villains. So obviously, let's start with Steppenwolf. I think they obviously did a much better job. Obviously, the way he looked, the character, like I think
everything about it.
I think everything that from all the other obviously major reviews that are already out that people have already listened to, it's nothing new. Like they everybody knows they did a much better job in this one. I agree with everybody. Like they just really nailed this character, like in this version of it, of really understanding his backstory, why the fact that he apparently betrayed Darkseid and that he owes him a debt that he has to pay it off. But lucky enough, since he found where the anti-life equation is,
he got a second chance.
He was almost given a second chance. I thought the way they ended up killing him was awesome. Like it was so badass the way way Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Superman just came together and just
whooped his ass,
comboed him, back to Apocalypse,
3 piece in a soda,
throwing his head right into Darkseid's foot, like there's your uncle, bitch.
Darkseid just crushed it like it was nothing.
Yep, like fuck. He's like, fuck that guy. I don't give a shit about him.
Facts.
And speaking of Darkseid, they
beautiful.
Yeah, the from
everything from what was missing in
everything from the design, the look of the character, the way they portrayed him, his motivation, his
cadence, everything. Bro.
Everything, like his intensity, his why he was doing what he was doing. I just thought they nailed the comic version of Darkseid so well. Brought me back to like the animated series vibes.
I agree.
And again, like I hope that this ends up succeeding so we can get more, because I would love to see more Darkseid.
Oh yeah, and more on Darkseid. But Darkseid, honestly, if I were to think about how he would look in real life, that would probably be the closest depiction.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's so accurate. It's like you don't get more accurate in terms of like, all right, if you're going to take what that character looks like in the comic designs and like the cartoons, and you were to make it live action, that's about as close as you're getting in terms of like where it looks serious enough but doesn't look stupid either.
Exactly.
Because even in the comics, Thanos has a more like bold face, so to have like a bolder, big purple head with the Josh Brolin face, it works for that. Compared to Darkseid, where Darkseid is like almost kind of like rocks in his face, like the way it looks. So it's like, he does have to look very CG'd and heavily detailed, type shit. Little cameo, nothing too crazy, but Deathstroke.
Too much fuego. Deathstroke is one of my favorites, if not my favorite villain in the DC. I just love what he's about. I love what they're doing with it. That's why I want to see more of the Snyderverse, because I feel like they can do so much with that, with his conversation with Lex Luthor, They can just do so much with that.
Well, that's the thing. So the conversation with Lex Luthor, because I don't think he knows about this, what you and me know, but what gets you a little excited if this goes on in the future is, when it comes to Justice League, that epilogue, that was basically to tease Ben Affleck's movie that was gonna, rumored to take place with, him in Arkham Asylum. He was gonna be he's gonna be versing Deathstroke. It was gonna be a whole crazy thing. But they also were in talks for a Deathstroke solo movie that was gonna be directed by Gareth Evans, I believe. I think it's Gareth Evans. There's another there's another Evans that also directed Star Wars that I get confused with. So don't quote me on that specifically. But the director of the Raid movies. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen those?
The Raid movies, no.
You never seen Raid?
Mm-hmm.
You're crazy.
We'll definitely have to put you on to some of the clips after this.
Heard that.
But basically, it's a very extremely well made, modern made martial arts movie. That is, I can't remember exactly which country the movie's from, but it's an incredible film, and the guy who directed it, who does action when you see the movie, does it incredibly well.
It's amazing, bro.
Yeah,
the choreography
is insane.
From the choreography to the I don't know which is better, the choreography or the story.
Yeah,
that's how good it is. Like, because
you're into the story as much as you are into the action, and it's so amazing. But
1 and 2.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is both are amazing, and the guy who directed those two said he never wanted to make a Hollywood American blockbuster film. So when they asked him to do Deathstroke, the deal was going to be that it was going to be like rumored it was going to be a $40 million movie, with Joe Manganiello and him, and that it was going to be like an origin story of Deathstroke type shit.
I mean, I'm okay with that. If they want to do that, they should. Yeah, I mean,
again, I wanted to do the Batman project with Ben Affleck and him because, again, like, if the the reports are true of the Warner Brothers DC tour guide that they have right now that has like all the costumes and shit from the movie. Mm-hmm. Apparently, in Deathstroke Sword, there's a League of Shadows or League of Assassins logo on the sword. So people were thinking like how in Batman, son of Batman.
Yeah, son of
how
Batman.
Like he was wanted to be the successor of Ra's al Ghul. Mm-hmm. Maybe it could be that because he said it was personal. He wanted to know his identity, so it's like maybe something happened where he needs revenge on Batman and wants to do it by joining the League of Shadows. So obviously he needs to take Batman out if he wants to be in the good eyes of Ra's al Ghul. Mm-hmm. So and if Arkham Asylum was going to be a part of it, that just would have been through the roof insane.
I agree.
But at the end of the day, we're still getting the Pattinson movie, which I'm
very excited for.
I'm actually more excited for. So
yeah. It looks amazing, like from all like the pictures I've seen online from the shoots and the trailers are phenomenal. Like
the teaser we got last year was just
like it's
so
amazing.
So I can't wait for it.
It just finished filming, right? Like a week or two ago.
Last week. So that. Yeah, so we're getting closer and closer.
Yeah, exactly.
So
now they're just sitting in the editing.
We just have to survive. We just have to survive until then. That's all we have to do.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make it. Don't worry. You got the cure. So.
So the last one to talk about is the Joker. The best use of. Alan is the fucking worst. That's all I gotta say. Sorry, viewers. Alan's just fucking up right now. But the Joker, I thought was utilized extremely well. Best use of Jared Leto as the Joker, and
I don't like your judgments.
Shut up. All I know is, I really wish I could see what David Ayer had in mind for Suicide Squad when it came to the Joker, because if Jared Leto did more of that in whatever was on the cutting room floor of, Suicide Squad, and I want to see it because that performance with him and again, like I think I was just more happy to see a Batman and a Joker that actually had history with each other, going back and forth, basically digging into each other about their history together and how, like you said, like I'm your best friend. You know, you can't kill me. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
you'll be left with nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? But and that's the thing too. That's why I'm kind of like, it would have been cool to see Joker and Suicide Squad, but in my opinion, like Suicide Squad has nothing to do with Joker, so it would have been a 50-50 if I would have saw him in it. It would have been like whatever. But if I didn't, since I didn't, it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah.
But what I did, I do feel like his Joker is the perfect Joker for this. His monologue, the way he delivered it, I don't care what anybody says about his laugh, like it's creepy.
It's a creepy laugh.
It's creepy.
I think it fits very well.
It did what it, in my opinion, the laugh did what it was supposed to do. It weirded me out.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. That's exactly what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I say, if every Joker had the same exact laugh, there's no, there's no
exactly and
uniqueness to it.
Exactly. So if everybody based their laugh off of one Joker and all the Joker's laughs sounded the same, like we'd be complaining about that.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We get 4 different Jokers, 4 different laughs, and we complain about that. It's you know what I mean? Sometimes you can't please everybody, you know. Right. And personally, I don't like the way Barry Allen runs, but I love the way they depicted the Speed Force. I love the way he used his powers.
Yeah.
I love the fact that even though we didn't see, we don't know we don't know exactly how long he had his powers, but we saw him phase through a wall. We saw him use his electrical abilities, and we saw him travel in time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's a win in my opinion.
They hit every point.
Yeah, we heard Joker's laugh. The banter between him and Batman was amazing, in my opinion. Not good, amazing. Mm-hmm. You got us to the writer. Right. I gotta give it up to the writer because the
killed it.
Yeah, exactly.
You killed it.
You know how hard it is to write dialogue, just to write dialogue for people. Mm. Not only that, to write dialogue that infers history that.
Of like 2 of the most iconic characters of literally of all time.
Exactly.
Ever.
Yeah. And it can infer.
Not even just comic books, but just just in pop culture, period.
Facts.
Batman and Joker, the 2 most iconic, and you're the first one
hero
writing
versus
them. Where
villain. Every time you hear it's Batman versus Joker. Like, it's like,
and the thing is, like, you're writing dialogue for 2 people where it's like, again, every other depiction of the Joker and Batman you've ever seen on screen before, like live action, has always been the first time they meet. So you're writing dialogue for 2 people that now have had 20 years of history together.
Like, he's killed people he loves.
Exactly.
He killed Robin.
You've been through the ringer with this other dude. And the fact of the matter is, he says you bring Robin to do a man's job. You bring the Boy Wonder
to do a man's
job. And as comic book fans, and as Batman fans, as we are here, we know that that's at least 3 Robins he could be talking about. Any of them, like any of them, like.
I think based on I feel like because Nightwing would have definitely taken up the Batman mantle. I feel like this is kind of confirming that it was Dick Grayson that died because of the fact that he just came out, with the recent interview and said that his plan was that the new Batman would have been Jonathan Kent. I mean, Bruce Kent, Superman and Lois's kid. So I think that was Dick Grayson, which I feel like is kind of dope because I feel like that to me is a very different take because the whole thing about Jason is Jason comes back to life and gets very upset that Batman didn't kill Joker after that.
Yeah.
But Dick Grayson, you gotta remember in the Injustice series, Damian accidentally kills, leads to the death of Dick Grayson, and in that series, he then basically disowns Damian, he wants nothing to do with him. So Damian then joins Superman, and it's kind of because it's you killed my kid. He looks more of it you killed my kid type shit, not my my kid killed my kid.
Yeah.
Like, that's how much he looks at Dick Grayson as, like, his son. So, like, to have a version of, you know, Batman where Joker killed his, you know, the one he really looks at like his son, that hits different. Like,
see,
we've never seen that version before.
I could definitely see that happening, but I could also see it as it either being, I could also see that being as Damian Wayne dying. Because of the simple fact that if Damian Wayne died, and you know for a fact that even though
they never brought the fact that he might have had him.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Well, no, but so that's the whole thing is, so when the exhibit first came out for Batman vs Superman, the Robin suit said Jason Todd on the name, but then when it came up in the most recent shit, people were speculating that it was Dick Grayson based on a gravestone that was in the background of Batman vs Superman. So it's always inferred that it was either Jason or Dick Grayson, and those are the two that Zach always gets asked the questions about, and he's always like, he basically kind of teeters on each.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it depends on where Ben wanted, I think, to go with it.
Okay.
Like, if Ben wanted to go with it, because there was a Nightwing movie announced.
Yeah,
that was supposed to be directed by the guy who did Batman the Lego movie, and that's still technically in development. They haven't completely killed it, but they haven't done any work on it either. So it's one of those things of like. So again, it's depending on where Ben wanted to go. If Ben wanted to go a route where it was Jason's death, then they go with the Nightwing movie, and you know Dick Grayson probably comes in. If not, then it probably would have been like, all right, Nightwing would have probably made it like same thing like with Joker, or what they're doing with the Rob Pattinson Batman, like maybe like an Elseworld type thing, type shit, or maybe like before that all that shit happened. But
to close this up, if you had to rate the movie out of 10, what would you guys rate it?
You go first, Jared. I want to go last.
I would give it. I don't want to stick with anything right now because I still need to let it sit because we literally just finished it. I would go with, for right now, I'll go 8.5 out of 10. It'll probably definitely rise up the more and more I watch it because I definitely plan on watching this a lot. So I'll go 8.5 for now. Same as Man of Steel for me. Well, actually, for me, Man of Steel is like a 9.5 out of 10. But that's just like I really, really love that movie and it sticks with me. But we'll have to see how well Justice League sits with me, you know, as I rewatch it. But like I said, off first watch, yeah, they did things in there that I never thought I would see it, you know. So I could literally go all day about it, but you know, I'd rather keep this review short and simple. But yeah, no, I would go 8.5 for now. It'll definitely probably go up though.
I give it a 9 out of 10. Personally, I thought it was. I think my only issue was like maybe some of the CGI wasn't all that crazy. I get it because you know they kind of made the shit last minute. You know, it was like, so like, which is fine. I thought it looked good for what it was, so I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
I'm actually also gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Like other than, I just felt like the only problem with the CGI is I felt what Cyborg CGI. You know, any other CGI in the movie, in my opinion, was done well. And like not like amazing. Like there were certain parts where that was like, oh my god, this is amazing, but it was like done very well to where it's like, oh, okay, I believe all of this. It's just for me, his arms and legs felt too thin for me.
No, I could definitely see that. I think that's the whole thing with Zack Snyder that I think a lot of people have a problem with is he takes a lot of his time with like people were mad that Doomsday didn't automatically have the bones and shit when he came out of the shit. Like they didn't like that it was like as the energy surged and you know his skin would you know he would peel his skin like then the bones would come out. People didn't like that shit. Like oh why doesn't it just like that from the beginning? I think his whole thing is it happens to happen like organically. So it's like, all right, I'm setting up this is Cyborg who just became Cyborg. He's still learning his shit.
Cyborg version 1, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's gonna get more shit to upgrade him.
I think, you gotta remember also, like when this movie was announced to be made and they started making this movie, Cyborg did have a movie lined up. His movie was supposed to come out actually last year in 2020. Yeah. But obviously that shit.
But I get where Richard's coming from. Like it just.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I agree with it. I'm just saying like I'm just saying that the reason he probably did that was because they were teamed this. Obviously, you see now we get the full version of this movie. they were teeing this up for like his own movie where he would have definitely upgraded to the cyborg that we know from like the comics and shit.
But yeah, like, but that's the problem. That's not the problem for me. Like I don't care if he looked like the cyborg we know and love, but it's the fact that I just felt like his chest area was way bigger than his legs and his arm area. You know what I mean? Like, it was out of proportion. Yeah, exactly. I was saying the way that he designed his, like when you look at the way they designed it. No, I'm saying the way they designed it was based off the New 52. Yeah. So if you look at the New 52, that's what I'm saying. He probably would have upgraded, and then when he upgrades, that's when like he gets like more metallicals like in his like arms and shit. Yeah, but which is then what gets him bigger. Exactly, but that's what I was saying earlier. How like he has the ability to absorb other technology to enhance his own. You know what I mean?
The more technology, exactly, enhance it. The more shit.
Exactly, and I was low key expecting that towards like when they were getting towards the end of it with him though too. You know, with
they kind of did show that when he had that big ass cannon on his back.
Well, that was in the nightmare sequence.
That
was in the nightmare sequence.
Yeah. And if they could just I could see that being its own separate movie, just as a side note.
That was supposed to be, like I said, that from the reports, that's what Justice League 2 would have been. It would have been mainly in the nightmare world and like focusing on that shit. So again, I hope we get that shit. If not, I'm glad for what we did get. You know, it is what it is. I'll still enjoy this no matter what. So
I agree.
This was amazing.
Yeah, it was a great movie. Definitely check it out. HBO Max. You give it a watch. You know, it's broken up into 6 different parts, so you don't have to sit through the whole thing. You can watch it at your leisure. Part. Yeah, pause whenever you want, take a break, watch it the next night.
We definitely did that.
Yeah. No, we just watched it straight through. But anyways, guys, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Word.
Goodbye.